first, we've got Ange Postecoglou enthusiast all the way from Australia, Paul.
I've not been this excited over a manager coming in since Terry Venables. I think he's that good. And it's nice to see even Sim, coming on board there a little bit. You'll be with us. You'll be with us in no time at all, man. No
Sim
reservations.
has jumped on the bandwagon. 100%. Don't you worry about that. Sim's on board.
He's coming. He's walking into a storm. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot to fix at this football club, from the fan base to the hierarchy to the playing staff. It's going to take time for him to fix all of this. But do you really believe in Postecoglou being a long-term project at Tottenham? He's signed a 4-year deal. It's a long deal. I think it's the biggest deal that we've given a manager since Pochettino. So do you believe that shows the belief that the hierarchy have that this guy can be a real long-term project for Tottenham? He can be here for many years.
I tell you, they've fallen under his spell. He's just looked at him and they've fallen into his eyes. He's a very charismatic guy, and I think he's persuaded them that he's the right man for the job, and he's probably explained how he's going to do it. And I'll tell you what, if he's here for 4 years, I reckon we're not going to be talking about this top four bullshit. We're going to be going for titles and cups and God knows what. He's amazing. He really is.
You believe he's capable of that kind of level, of competing with Guardiola and Klopp and getting in and amongst them?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think he's one of the best managers in the world. When he's taken the Australian team, which was not a team of world stars or anything, and they played in a way that they had no right to do at a World Cup, drawing with Spain and losing narrowly to Holland. And he thrives on a crisis. This is what he loves. He loves going into somewhere that's in turmoil. He did it at Celtic, did it at Yokohama, did it at Brisbane Roar, and now he's doing it with us. And I saw a report where his agent's been working on this for months. So, we finally got a manager that really wants to be at Tottenham. Instead of the fly-by-nighters that we've been bankrolling. I'm happy for you two, because you're going to be having fun at football games again, man. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's going to be such a ride, man.
Big up to Paul. Really great to get his take. I mean, he is a proper Ange enthusiast.
100%. Yeah, if anyone is not on board with Postecoglou after listening to Paul, I don't know when you will be.
Yeah, literally. Let's bring on the next guest.
Brian, you say you're happy about Ange. I believe you. But what do you say to a lot of the fans on social media? What do you say about a lot of the fans on social media who are kind of using the appointment of Postecoglou as a stick to kind of beat Levy with, as a sign of, oh, look, he's not ambitious, he's going for the cheap option kind of thing? What would you say to fans who are saying that kind of thing?
Well, listen, I heard when you and Simeon were talking about this earlier, and Levy's only got himself to blame for this. He has only got himself to blame for the way he's done this for 22 years. And to be honest, it may look that way, and I can see where it looks that way. It could be that Nagelsmann was spin. It could be that all the talk was spin, and this has been in their sights for the whole time. And like I've said here before, I don't trust Daniel Levy to tell me the time. So when it comes to anything he says, I mean, he's brought a statement out today on Spurs Official, and I've said exactly the same thing. I'll say I'll listen to every single word that Ange Postecoglou has to say and what he's trying to instill. I don't believe a word that comes out of that man's mouth. So he has painted this rod for his own back. So I can see where that's coming from. But if, you were both saying, if you listen to what he says in interviews, if you look at the documentaries or do a bit of research of what is out there on them, the players hang on his every word, and he has the respect and they love him. And he brings a winning mentality, whether that be in the J-League, whether that be in the Australian League, or whether that be in the Scottish Premier League. He brings something that this club doesn't have, which is a winning mentality. So let's just hope this will rub off and we can do something with it.
In terms of patience, Brian, I want to talk to you about patience, because Conte says the
something I've got a lot of, yeah.
Exactly. Conte says the fans have run out of patience, with the club. Well, the fans have been waiting many years for a trophy. How patient are you willing to be with Postecoglou if we don't win a trophy within the first couple of years?
Postecoglou, as I said, will have my undivided support from the day he's here till the day he goes. Pure and simple, as every other manager has. I have always backed the manager. I have always backed the team. I just don't back a certain element, and we all know where that is. So you got to remember, Postecoglou is coming right now, and if you look at it, I can't remember a manager coming in at any point in our history to such a mess that's been created. And I ain't just talking about our recent history. I'm talking about our entire history. He has got to come in and literally rip it, tear it down and build it back up. You know, when people join the army, they break you down and rebuild you like machine. That's what he's got to do. He has literally got to rip this up from in every department. Whether, I mean, I'd be very interested to see his relationship with Scott Munn. Obviously, there's the Australian connection and they know each other. Hopefully, there's a partnership. Like we said, the kind of like with Poch and Paul Mitchell, they kind of hand in glove. Hopefully, these two will work hand in glove, and it won't be like Paratici wanted something and Conte wanted something, or Paul Mitchell wanted something and Levy wanted something else, or whatever it may be. Hopefully, these two will be allowed to do what they need to do. And Postecoglou, for myself, will have my undeniable and unwavering support from July the 1st, or from now, but obviously he starts his position July the 1st, until the day he is no longer Tottenham Hotspur manager. And it's always been that way with managers. And like I said, he's got to come in and rip this to shreds and unite the squad, sort out Harry Kane, whether he wants to keep him, whether Harry Kane wants to go, does he get a new contract, sort out the team. I mean, you spoke about Ndombele. And for me, Ndombele, Ben, you were talking about it before. For me, and this is a bold statement for me, I've seen only Paul Gascoigne be able to do some of the things that this guy has the ability to do. The technical, not saying he's in the same league as Gascoigne, because I would never ever say that, because no one is. This guy has all the potential in the world, but the most disgusted attitude I've seen. I personally wouldn't give him another chance. I think his time's done. How many do you give? But again, if Postecoglou says, I'm going to give, like you said, Simeon, I think you're right when you said give him 6 months. And if it's not working, rip his contract up. I think that may be, who knows, Postecoglou may be the guy that unearths the gem that is within him. He really could. But my patience with him is gone. He'd have to do a lot to earn it. But yeah, for me, he's got all the time. I'm going to be very, very patient with him. It doesn't matter if the sea gets choppy or it gets rough at times. I will be with him from get-go.
And you talk about ripping it down and rebuilding it. So where does that leave Harry Kane?
Listen, you look at Harry Kane now, and I think, as Steven Gerrard said when he was close to winning at Chelsea, or moving to Chelsea, he goes, winning one trophy at Liverpool will mean more than 10 at any other club. And I'm sure Harry Kane feels the same way, without a shadow of a doubt. But at least at Liverpool, Steven Gerrard had the belief that they could do it. And we all know that Liverpool had the infrastructure and did everything to do it. Do we? Now, Postecoglou, if he gets his options, and we've got to look at it, his options are not going to be like the Bastonis or whatever. He knows his market. He knows the players he wants. These players could be as little as 6 million. They could be as much as 25 million. It could be whatever. I want Postecoglou to get his targets, and then we see. So when it comes to Harry Kane, do those players speak to Harry Kane and say, yeah, do you know what? He's putting something together here I can see. He's got one chance. If this Real Madrid rumour, which I believe is completely genuine and completely true, does he say, right, I can't be here for another 4-year project? This is the big thing. I think he's gone.
Big up, Brian. Always a pleasure. Let's bring on Danny Kyriakou. How you feeling, Danny? I can see all smiles, my friend. Today, you happy?
I'm very happy, man. I'm glad it's a 4-year deal as well, because I think a lot of Spurs fans, right? They were, including myself. It's a bit like, do the board really have faith in him, and do you see a long-term plan, a long-term vision? Because we've kind of had this. I know there's a kind of common theme of nowadays managers are not getting longer-term contracts, and usually it's because the clubs want to obviously safeguard themselves, right? They want to, if they don't like the manager, they can get rid of him. It's cheaper to get rid of him. But let's be honest, like I don't think Postecoglou is going to cost an arm and a leg to come into this club, considering what, like say someone like Nagelsmann or Conte or Jose would cost, right? It's just it's like a complete opposite end of the spectrum in terms of what he would actually demand in terms of everything: transfers, director of football, wage, salary, everything, right? So for me, I think having the 4-year deal is kind of like the sign, even though the clubs probably won't communicate it to us, because look, let's be honest, they never communicate anything with us. It is kind of like a sign of saying, look, we wanna plan with this guy for the next 4 years. He is there for the long haul, and we want to try and build something with him, which does give you more confidence that they've got the belief in the manager, and they're going to give him the time, right? It's a good appointment because in retrospect to where Tottenham currently are and who we can actually attract, I mean, Tottenham fans have to be so realistic and not naive about the situation we're in at the moment, because we just finished 8th in the table and every manager under the sun has basically turned us down. Any manager with a decent kind of a decent outlook on Spurs and Daniel Levy and in a way got a little bit of common sense, which kind of, some people might say it might shock you that Postecoglou's got no common sense for wanting to join this shit show, but I mean, let's be honest. For him to want to come here and believe that he's the man to kind of completely change us, our fortunes in terms of where we are currently right now and where we want to be as a football club, I think that shows a lot about the man himself. And for me, like I said, I've done a lot of research on him, and then there's still so many fans on YouTube, on social media, that are like, literally all they say is, and I get it, what they say is, oh, he's only managed in Scotland, or Steven Gerrard's done that and look what he did, or so, things like that. But the difference is Postecoglou's been in management for over 25 years, I think it is, right? And I think it's 27 years. And if you look at what he's actually done and the man himself, right, you just have to do your research on him. I mean, I always go back to the documentary I watch, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, the 1.5-hour documentary about him.
I watched the first half, haven't finished it yet, but it's really good.
It's really good, right? And what I think what people need to see is they need to watch that, because it really does give you the insight into the man. And I think that's what, and when I say that, I mean the way he views football, his outlook on football, his outlook on his philosophy, his outlook on life, and also to see kind of what he's done everywhere he's been, and he's stuck to the same philosophy everywhere. So regardless of the level of the club he's been at, national team, he's done it everywhere.